This is question 18 and it's a question involving 3D Pythagoras and also upper and lower bounds. So it says that the diagram here shows a cube and we're given that AH is equal to 11.3 centimeters correct to the nearest millimeter. So AH is actually this distance going from the corner A to the corner H. It says we've got to work out the lower bound for the length of the edge of the cube. So since it's a cube, we can label it where we know that all the sides are going to be L. And we'll call that L, call that L, and call that L. So we can use Pythagoras in 3D in pretty much the same way that we can use it in 2D, in just that the formula will extend a little bit. So we could say that AH squared is actually going to equal L squared plus L squared plus L squared. Since we know that AH is 11.3 centimeters correct to the nearest millimeter, we need to know what its actual lower bound would be. So if we do that, we can say, well, the lowest value that AH could be would be 11.25 centimeters. So that's the lower bound of AH. And one way of looking at that is if we were to consider some sort of scale, we could have 11.3 would be there, 11.4 could be there, and 11.2 could be there. And if we work into just the nearest millimeter, the number after decimal point is the millimeter, and we can see that 11.3 represents anything between these two limits, so the midpoint there and there between the next number. And this one here is 11.25 because it's the halfway point. So that's why that's the lower bound for AH. And so we could put that into this equation. So we've got 11.25 squared equals 3L squared. Rearranging that a little bit more, I can divide both sides by 3. I'm just going to write the L squared on this side. So I've got 11.25 squared divided by 3. And then to get rid of the square on the L, all I need to do is square root both sides. And that will give me that L is equal to the square root of 11.25 still squared over 3. And this is the lower limit or lower bound of the value of L, given that this is correct to the nearest millimeter. So I'm just going to use my calculator to do this. So we've got the square root of, use my fraction button, 11.25 squared, and then divided by 3, and that gives me, that's in third form, so that's exact form, but we're going to put it in as a decimal, and we're going to just have to make sure that we do write down all the figures. So that's 6.495190528 centimeters, and that's it. That's our final answer. So I hope that's been helpful to you, and if it has, please consider subscribing to our channel and also giving the video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.